this side.
Yeah, that's the office for the permits.
Yeah. So it's a rainy start to our Canada Day long weekend trip. It's me, Edgar, and Tanya. So me, Triple E, and Tiny T. We're just doing a very easy little long weekend trip. Shaw Lake access point, going out back over to Booth Lake. See if we can't catch some trout and some pike. So Edgar tricked me on the way up, told me he saw on Facebook that there was no mosquitoes this year in Algonquin. And then he corrected and said there's vampires. And so far it's true. Pretty damn aggressive, but it's lightly raining and it's about 20 degrees, so it's exactly their favorite time to come out and get some blood. So we're staying on Booth Lake on both nights. I haven't even looked at a map, but I've been here a couple times, so I don't even think I will. We're making our way into the first the tiny little lake. I think it's called Farm Lake or something like that. Then we have a 100 or 200 meter portage, another tiny paddle, and then 600 meter, and then we're already in Booth. So pretty easy travel day. I think the rapid that we're going to portage, the first little portage is right there. There's a little cottage here, and I think in previous years I've actually seen cars drive right up to that cottage, so there must be like a logging road or something that leads to it. I'm debating if I want to try paddling up this. It's very doable. I just don't know if I want to sweat in my... if I want to put that kind of effort when I'm in the rain jacket. I think I'll portage, just like a 90 meter or something. So yeah, that was a very easy 90 meters. We have another tiny little lake here you just have to cross, and then it's a 6:30, I think. And I remember it not being very difficult either. Something swimming along the shore here. I can't really make out what it is. Oh, it's just a duck. Or a loon. So we're at the 600 meter portage. Just a rocky little rapid here. Glad we're getting in a little early. We probably got in the water around 9:30 in the morning. Just because Booth is a very popular lake and it's Canada Day weekend. And at this portage there was, a couple boats sitting at the side with coolers and barrels. So there's going to be a lot of people in the lake. So it'd be nice to get in early and take a sight. How's it going? The dam on Booth Lake. Right at the end of the portage. Oh, it's a fish. Thought I had a big snag, but I think it's a fish. Fish! Yeah, I think it's a lake trout. Oh no, it's a small pike. Oh, that's so small. There we go. Not bad. Looks like lunch to me. Always nice on a canoe trip to get your get the skunk out of the way. And I think you've been paddling for what, maybe an hour? Not even. Okay, so a little over an hour. First fish in the boat, pretty good. First campsite we looked at looked a little dark and sort of packed into the woods, and considering it's already a dark and rainy weekend, I think we're gonna try and see if we can find something better. Campsite number 2 here has a little staircase in the front. Definitely nicer than the first one. At least from the water it looks nicer. So we're coming up to a campsite that we've stayed at before, so we know it's perfectly fine for us. The nice thing about this campsite is it's on an island sort of off in its own side of the lake, and it's the only campsite on the island. So it does mean it'll give us a little separation from everybody else. So like I said, we've stayed here about 2 or 3 years ago. Got 2 good fire pits, but that doesn't matter. There's a fire ban. Apparently, well, into mid-July at least. But we should be good. So the sun's finally starting to come out a little bit. When we arrived, it stopped raining for about 10 minutes for us to set up the kitchen shelter. And then we had lunch inside of there, and now it finally stopped, so we're busy setting up the camp. So we got the kitchen shelter on the big flat spot. Edgar and Tanya doing their usual side-by-side hammocks, with basically sharing the trees with a spreader bar in the front. In case the camera didn't pick that up, Edgar says he can't sleep unless she's next to him, because she's the tough one. And I'm actually, believe it or not, in a tent for the first time in probably 7 or 8 years. I haven't been in a tent. I bought this about 3 years ago, in case I was ever going somewhere that didn't, reliably have trees. It was on special. It was a Wilderness Excursions tent. They have a couple different, well, they used to have a couple different models. I checked recently, and they only have their bigger 2-person tent. This is technically a 2-person tent, but really it's a 1-person. But it's a nice tent, really inexpensive. and it's under. If you don't use the sort of the what's that called, the base at the bottom, if you don't bring that, it's under 3 pounds, or it's just a little over 3 pounds if you bring that. So it's a nice lightweight tent, really cheap, and so I'm giving that a try. So Tanya's gonna fillet the pike for us. I figured I'd film it with Tanya in frame, that way it looks like a giant pike, just pretend Tanya is a
regular
6 foot tall woman, and that's a big pike. So we've been frying up as much as we can in our tiny little frying pan here, but basically been having Cajun fish crisp pike with a family-sized bag of Doritos. It makes for a pretty interesting supper. But we had so much fish, there's no way we're eating any of the real meals that we brought. So day 2 out on the water, get a little fishing done. My first night in 7 or 8 years of tent camping was pretty awful. I think mostly due to the spot on the ground was relatively flat, but it was kind of halfway through my body. There was like a slight change in angle, and for some reason it kept waking me up constantly. And there was a bunch of other stuff that was more my fault, like the summer quilt that I use in hammocks just doesn't work well on the ground. It constantly sliding off I would wake up and it was completely off me. It kept pulling it back up. Anyway, combination of bad spots. So I moved the tent, and like I said, I'd use a different pillow next time and different top quilt. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But again, do a little fishing. Probably actually a perfectly blue sky sunny day, but because of all the smog from the wildfires, it's just all hazy and gray. Oh, hooked a branch underwater. I reached for the camera and I lost him. It's been a bit of a struggle for me fishing this morning. Edgar's caught a couple bass. I've gotten one bite up until this point. I just hooked one pretty good, and I reached for the camera and he came right off. Oh. Edgar just had another fish, lost it as soon as it got to the boat. Got a little smallmouth on. Cute little guy. Just lost another one. Got a pike on, a little small guy. Pike, make a nice lunch. We got a bass. Tiny little guy. So we're breaking down camp on the last day. Like I said, it was just a quick little Canada Day long weekend trip. Didn't film much, basically because it's not a traveling trip. So we basically just did normal camp stuff, went swimming, hang around and talked. Obviously, it's a fire ban, so we couldn't have any fires. Did a bunch of eating, and like I said, packing everything up, and just a quick little, probably hour and a half, 2 hours to get back to the truck. So I slept a lot better on the second night in the tent. Just picked up the tent, moved it to a different spot. So basically I just need to find a better pillow, because I just wasn't comfortable with the one I brought. But turned out just fine. Just coming up to the portage to leave Booth Lake. Can't complain about the paddle. That lake was glass, sun. Still early, so it's not super hot yet. Just perfect.